little bit here, and nice to get to know you a little bit. Let's go ahead and maybe just share kind of name and where you work, what do you do, and then what brought you to this session today. You knew the topic was going to be UDL, so I'm wondering why you chose that, or maybe you just came because Joe sent you the invite, and it's every other Wednesday at 4 o'clock. You're committed devotee of Joe. So let's see, Kathy, maybe would you start for us?
Sure. I'm Kathy Coyle-Euchre. I work for Antioch Unified School District as a coordinator in the Student Support Services Department, overseeing counseling and now community schools. I basically came to this because, to be honest with you, I don't know a lot about UDL. And so this is my opportunity to kind of learn a little bit more um, about it.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks, Kathy. Marvin, how about you?
Yes, my name's Dr. Marvin Reed. I am assistant principal in Dublin Unified School District. And what has brought me to this one, because when I was a classroom teacher, this was always my wheelhouse. I really enjoy basically, flipping the classroom and creating, especially because we were full inclusion in my last district. So being able to create learning that broke through traditional, that we knew that learning didn't work for everybody, but let's try and give more opportunities to show students thinking and learning. I just found that very fascinating. So I'm excited to continue to learn. And like I said, part of the PD hours, I'm like, well, let's see what else we can add to our repertoire.
Okay, thank you. And Samantha.
Hi, Samantha Boger, assistant principal at Heritage High School in the Liberty Union School District in Brentwood. And while I also need PD hours, and this meets that, UDL was something big when I was in school to get my teaching credential. And so I'm kind of interested to now kind of from the administrative side, get some tools and strategies that maybe I can support some of my teachers with.
Awesome. Welcome. And hi, Miranda. Thanks for joining us. We're just kind of doing introductions and name and role and what brought you to the session today.
Hi, Miranda Romo. I'm vice principal, and you sounds like same as the person who just went before me. I taught for a long time and used UDL, so always interested to learn more.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for being here. Again, my name is Christy Warren. I'm our Director of Curriculum and Instruction here at Contra Costa County Office of Ed. I've been here for, 18 months. This is going into my second year here as Director of CNI. Prior to that, I've been in Northern California and for the last almost 20 years, doing a variety of things in admin work. I've been an elementary principal, I've been a high school principal, district office, curriculum and instruction, as well as an assistant superintendent. So I feel like I've had an awesome range of experiences that have really helped me in this role here. And I love the team that we work with, Joe being one of those here at the county office. And so excited to be here. And UDL is obviously a topic that we're passionate about here at the county, so much so that we made it really our theme for the year with our various groups that we oversee. And really thinking about high quality tier 1 instruction is really where it starts. So, I've learned a lot about UDL over the years, like I've learned about it as a principal, as an administrator, but going more deeply into the work in these last few months as we've really made it a focus here. But I'm also excited to learn from each of you as well. And because we do have a small group, I hope you'll have camera on and participate as much as you're comfortable with today verbally as well, and we'll do some stuff in the chat too. So just to get us started, a simple this or that question. So either in the chat or just verbally you can share, are you a cat person or a dog person? I can see the chat. I see 2 votes for dogs. I'm going to go with dogs, although I love cats also. I wish I could have them, but my husband's allergic, so I would have to choose between a husband and cats. So I'm going to go with dogs. All right. All right, next one, playlists or podcasts? Which do you prefer? Playlist. Oh, we've got some music lovers here. Yes. I know Joe's definitely playlist. Book or movie? I guess read the book, see the movie. Which would you do? Let's see, movie, book, movie, but I might fall asleep. I find that happens to me too, Joe. I get just tired. But that happens to me with books too. Would you rather be a driver or a passenger? See, driver, passenger, passenger, driver, driver. Oh, that's one's kind of split. I think we might have one more. Would you rather meet in person or on Zoom? In person, in person, in person. See that Zoom only because of the commute. Yes, I mean, there are certain advantages to Zoom is that you can all join from around the county just from the comfort of your own desk. But yeah, in person's always good too. You did see that we have the link to our session today, these slides, and also a Padlet. And maybe Joe, you could help me out if you could drop that in the chat too. That would be helpful while I share screen here. So let's go ahead and get started with, this is a clip about more than our labels. So hopefully our sound is all queued up and working, and we could just enjoy this one for a few minutes.
I'm in grade 6.
I'm in 7th grade.
I'm in 8th grade.
9th grade.
I'm a sophomore.
11th grade, 12th grade.
I graduated in June.
Okay, pick a label that best describes you, and then we'll talk about it. Just one.
Caring.
I picked the label hardworking.
I picked friendly.
Yeah, I was nervous because I don't know what word to pick.
It was, I don't know, a lot because I wanted to choose multiple words, but I only could choose one, so. I chose outgoing because that's just how people tell me that I am. People say I bring a smile to the room.
I kind of see myself as artistic, but I kind of just thought it was normal to be like that.
I picked the label confused because that's what I am right now. Expectations to me that aren't always met, and it's just like a lot of pressure all the time.
I picked quiet. I was actually born with a stutter. You know, when you see like quiet, they start to assume things, and you know.
On college forums or like applications, they always like check which box like applies to you the most.
You can label someone something and they could be that, but they are also other things. They're not just what you label them as. I feel like in society today, especially with teenagers, we try to put them in boxes. Okay, well this kid does good in school, so they're just gonna be smart and that's it. And if they just get a bad grade, then automatically they're not in that box anymore. They're moved to a completely different box. Or this kid is athletic, so they can't be smart. It's like, why can't I just be both?
How did that feel, having to just pick one word?
I felt hard, like I was pressured.
Are labels a good idea?
I don't think so. Well, not really.
I don't really like labels. I don't want people thinking of me as like a certain label because I'm more than one thing, and I think about that for everyone else.
I felt like it was limiting because there's a lot of words you can describe yourself as, good and bad, and it's just hard choosing only one word.
I'm gonna have you go back to the table again, and this time you can pick 3 or 4 more words, and we're gonna add them, and then we're gonna talk about them.
Ooh, okay.
How does this feel?
It explains a lot more.
I like this one a lot better.
When you asked me to pick more words, I was like, all right, yes, there we go.
It feels like I have more of myself on the board. Not everything, but it has more of my traits and more of the qualities that I have, and it represents me a little bit more.
I think people can be like two things that kind of like counteract with each other, like shy and outgoing. Like those two things like aren't usually things that go together, but I think people can definitely be that.
I think about it a lot. This also goes back to being a senior and like all my teacher rec forms, it's like, describe yourself in 5 words. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, okay. Putting labels on people isn't necessarily fair because it doesn't get like the complexity of their character.
Grown-ups sometimes don't even know their identity, you know? It changes the more you grow up.
I'm like a little bit of everything. So everyone's like, oh no, she's that. They're like, no, I thought she was this. I'm everything.
I know just recently I'm trying to figure out still more of who I am.
it just shows that everything in front of you that you know is me is quiet. But then when you open the curtain, then you see all this stuff about me. That's the full me. They're just like, wow, okay, it's not like you. It's like, no, it's been me for a while. Now I'm just showing you who I am.
All right, I just really love that video and chose it because I do try and center students at all of our PD that we do, right? Who are we designing for? And when it comes to UDL, it's first and foremost a mindset and how we design our lessons to meet those different labels or words, and knowing that kids are full of all of these. And so how we create our lessons with multiple entry points, designing with student agency, all foundational principles to UDL. So there we'll go over a UDL framework. We'll learn some tips and tricks today, but just at the foundational level, remember the mindset of UDL, what that is. So our learning goals for today are learn what UDL is and why it helps all students succeed. We'll explore how leaders can use UDL to support teachers and improve learning systems, and create a simple plan to help your team start using UDL in your school or district, or at least give you some tips and next steps of what you would want to do with that. I also like to try and incorporate UDL principles into our PD session today. So the first one is giving you some choice. You have three options to start. Door number one, if you are an independent learner and you just want to kind of sit and get today, there's a great video here by someone else who did a similar session. And it's just video viewing, 60 minutes. I would recommend you start at about a minute 11 after the introductions and a note-taking guide. So that's option one. Option two, review resources independently. So maybe you just want to look at the Padlet and look at them all and take some notes. That is an option. Option three is to stay with me in this guided interactive session, and we'll focus on connections with each other and learning from each other. Now, honestly, if we had a larger group, we might have more people choose option 1, 2, or 3. And if you want to do that, that's okay. But I'm going to encourage you this afternoon to maybe choose option 3 because there's 4 of us here today. But I do want to know if you are, just want to look at the screen and watch and you want to do the video viewing, that's okay too. Okay, so if there's one of those that you want to click on, and I had some breakout rooms set up and was going to put all the video people together or the independent people together. But we'll just stay in this room with guided interactive and connections. Know that you have those resources to use as well. Like if you want to provide that as an option to someone else in the future, if you do other UDL trainings, you can always come back to this. So I'm just going to say, if you're staying here, you're going to stick with me on option 3 for a thumbs up. And thank you. Okay. All right, so our success criteria, we're just going to use a single point rubric. So we'll be looking at, yes, those 3 things today at the end. Hopefully you'll be able to check met on all 3 of these: describing UDL, how to use UDL, and next steps. Oh, where did my 1, 2, 3, 4 go? Here we go. Sorry. All right, we're going to try and use the annotate feature on your Zoom screen today. So if you can, let's see, you can annotate on the screen, look for a check mark or a circle, annotate. I'm going to choose a check. And if you can't figure that out, again, we're such a small group, we can just say 1, 2, 3, or 4. So where are you at coming in today? I can describe UDL and how it helps all students succeed. Would you give yourself a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4? And if you can, annotate that. If you can't, maybe verbally share or put in the chat. Okay, Joe chose a heart. Hey, Kathy, thanks for putting in a 1. Okay. And yeah, for that second one, I know how to use UDL to support teachers and improve learning systems. And I know next steps to implement UDL. One, 2, 3, or 4.
And you see, Christy, some people are doing the chat too.
Okay, I do, yeah. Okay, I'm a 1 all the way, 2, 1, 2. Thanks, Margaret there. Great. Okay, so hopefully we'll just make a little bit of growth on this as we go throughout our session today. Clear those, or let's move on. Oh, wait, now I have to clear those. Stay on the slides. Trash, Joe told me. Clear all drawings. There we go. All right, our first section today is just what is UDL? We're going to explore the 3.0 UDL guidelines, and then how do we offer choice? Oops, I gotta get rid of that. Clear. I'll try. There we go. All right, so our first example, this is a pretty classic one when we talk about UDL. Maybe you've heard before. It's simply a dinner party. So imagine you get the invitation to a friend's dinner party. I'm just going to say it's mine today. So you're all invited to my dinner party, and I am going to be making one of my grandma's favorite recipes that's been handed down in generations that I absolutely love. And that is a really delicious tuna noodle casserole. Tasty. One of my favorites, right? Maybe not one of your favorites. Maybe not something you actually enjoy at all. So think about, you really want to come to my dinner party knowing that this is the only option on the menu, versus come to my dinner party and we're going to have an amazing buffet with lots of choice. Our favorite use of this here at the county office is the lunches we do. Easiest one is a taco bar, right? If you come here for a training, chances are you're going to get a taco bar for lunch, because we can keep it gluten-free if you want. You can keep it vegetarian if you want. And it is designed from the beginning for choice and to meet everyone's needs. And that I don't have to make 20 different dishes to make sure everyone gets something that they like, but it's designed in a way that there's an entry point and accessible for everyone. So think of UDL as that buffet in the design for your dinner party. Now there's these Universal Design for Learning guidelines. They just came out with the 3.0, so you may have seen these before in different iterations. And I just wanted to point out today that there are kind of 3 columns. The first one being engagement, and that's green. Okay, so how do we design for engagement? The second column is representation, and the third, action and expression. But there's also rows. So it goes this way as well. So access, support, and executive function. Okay, so when we talk about these UDL guidelines, think about them in columns and rows. I also really like to think about them really as that framework, okay? Like I said, that mindset. It's not specific strategies, although there are strategies that we can use when we design with this, okay? I like to think of it like a rope too, and we don't necessarily just pick and choose like, oh, I did one thing and that was a lesson designed with UDL in mind. It really is, how do we braid all 3 of these columns together in our lessons? So here's your first choice activity. This one is about 10 minutes. If you're in the mood to read and explore, I'm going to send you to the CAST UDL Guidelines website where you can read a little bit more about that. If you're in the mood to watch a video and really want to see what this looks like in a classroom, I invite you to choose the middle option. This is a 5th grade teacher with a video, and it's 9 minutes and 14 seconds. If you've seen these UDL guidelines before and you want to hear Katie Novak, who is the guru of all of this work, talk about the new 3.0 guidelines, I invite you to do that one on the right. Okay, so what is different about the UDL guidelines 3.0? I'm going to set my timer for 10 minutes and we'll come back together and do a quick discussion after that. Okay, Joe, thank you for putting all my links in the chat. I really appreciate that. Okay. So, can you maybe hold up 1, 2, or 3? Like, are you gonna read number 1, video number 2, or podcast number 3? Okay, thanks, Dr. Reed. Number 2, you're gonna watch the video. Okay, Miranda 2, Samantha, Kathy 2. Okay, 2. Everyone's choosing the video. Great. Okay, I'll let you watch that. No, you're done. And for those of you that are back, our prompt here to process this is here in the middle. If you watch the video, what specific UDL strategies did the 5th grade teacher use in the classroom? And the second part, how can you adapt one of those strategies for your own grade level or content areas? Did anyone see there about any UDL strategies that the teacher talked about? Anything like, thanks, Dr. Reed, visuals and choice as access. Also seating arrangements too. Another one. Anyone notice anything else? Relevant. Okay, thanks, Miranda. Prompting questions to engage student thinking. Yeah. Yeah, I like that one because oftentimes we do like to see what does this actually look like in a classroom, and especially as we talk to other people about it as well. So I like that one. The other 2 videos are the website one and the Katie Novak one is also really good to do also. So if you want to explore the UDL guidelines later, that video is also one I'd recommend. And here's what those guidelines are. Our partners at San Mateo made this slide, which I really like, of how these 3 columns, principles of UDL, really activate different levels of the brain, and really thinking about the how, the why, and the what. Okay. Love this comic, more of a graphic. And when we design for disabilities, we make things better for everyone. Okay. So we can see that cutout and who else can also now get across the street or to the playground just because of that one design. So it's not just for one person or group of people, but it's good for all. Now, one way that we can do this is we offer choice, right? And that creates student agency, creates buy-in, just like I offer you choice in the video. If I would have guessed wrong and said, oh, you all should have just watched or listened to the Katie Novak podcast, I really would have missed the mark. And maybe you wouldn't have been as engaged in that session. But when you offer that choice, that's one way to do that. And when you think about that, we want to think about it in 2 ways. One of them is to offer choice and input. And the easiest way to do that is a simple would you rather. Right? So if a student is needing to absorb content, would you rather read or watch a video? It's kind of the easiest way to do that. Or when we think about output, so offer choice to demonstrate learning. 4 ways that anything you can think of will probably come up with one of these 4 ways. So written expression, create a video or audio presentation, a multimedia project, or live demonstration. I think on the bottom of the slide in the notes, I've got an example too. So think about a 5th grade science project on photosynthesis. Maybe your learning objective is, do plants grow toward light, or that's your question. So some choices would be, if you want to offer choice and output, write a science report explaining the experiment, hypothesis, data, and conclusion. Or record a short documentary or podcast example explaining the experiment. Create a digital slideshow, animation, or infographic combining photos, charts, and captions. Or a live demonstration, bring in a plant to class and demonstrate the setup, pointing out how the plants bend toward the light. That's just an example of how you could offer choice and output there. The key thing here, though, is what is your learning objective? That is what dictates what choice you want to offer. I think the best example here is math. If we're working on graphing equations, we're not going to offer the choice of write a haiku to demonstrate your learning that you know inequalities or exponential equations. Okay, that just doesn't match the learning objective. And if your learning objective is writing, then you need to have writing be part of the assignment there. Okay. But if it's demonstrating content knowledge, social studies is a great place to offer more choice, as well as science. ELA obviously naturally lends to that as well. But if we can offer choice, either an input with a would you rather or an output by one of these 4, That is one way that we can work towards these UDL guidelines. Now, one thing we learned recently from Dr. Katie Novak is when we offer choice, 2 to 4 options is the sweet spot. I will say, once she said that, it wasn't just maybe the day or a couple days before. I offered a choice board to another training I was doing that was kind of like tic-tac-toe. It had lots of choice. It had 9 choices. Too many, okay? That was too many. And so it just becomes overwhelming, right? Like, where do I start? Okay, so 2 to 4 is really that sweet spot. So think about an upcoming meeting you'll be facilitating. As administrator, your chances are you facilitate lots of meetings, but is there something you can think of where you can incorporate some sort of choice? Like, would you rather? Anything come to mind for that?
Christy, Dr. Reed has his hand up.
Oh, go ahead, Dr. Reed.
Sorry, I'm nerding out with you. I would say, if I'm thinking out loud, let's say if I was leading, especially after a long day, because it's been, whenever there's rain or a full moon, the kids are off the hook. So I'm just going to say, hey, usually I know we're going to start our nuts and bolts right now and our agreements and everything. I'm going to give you, 10 minutes to check in with anybody you want to. After that 10 minutes, we'll start the meeting. If you can't think of somebody you want to work with, I'll give you this 10 minutes to see if you can contact at least one of your students in your classroom. Think of one that you would like just give a positive phone call home. If you can't think of anybody, if you can't, like, I don't need to check in, let me just go on your contact, let's just contact somebody. Give something good, give a good report home. But those are your 2 options. You got 10 minutes. Find somebody that you want to connect with, either the cost team or under the grade level, to talk about a student, or you can call a parent home right now, and then we'll start the meeting.
Awesome. That's a great example, Dr.
Just
Reed.
thinking out loud. I think that's something that I feel like we don't really, it's like we have to just get, because we don't have a lot of time. Like, we just have to go. But I think just sometimes you find other, if I know there's somebody in here you want to talk to about what happened today about one of our kiddos that you got to connect with, do that right now, or do this and we'll start.
Yeah, thanks. It's a good example. I think Samantha wrote student led in the chat.
Yeah, that was back from like what things we noticed in the video.
Okay, sorry. I was trying to figure out what that was. I was just gonna go with it, but okay. Thank you, Samantha. All right, so yeah, that faculty meeting is a great example of a way you could do that. Okay. Let's see, I'm gonna skip this one, looking at our time. So when we think about our role as leaders, right? So how do we model in professional learning or meetings we facilitate? How can we use UDL principles and observations and look-fors, and then identifying next steps? So you get another choice opportunity. Okay, should have turned this into a board game today. All right, number 1, if you want to read and explore, this is a UDL lesson planning protocol. It's a PDF. You can just click on that one and read and explore. Number 2, video. Shelley Moore is excellent. If you haven't ever seen Shelley Moore's work, I recommend choosing this one. Okay. And the other read is 5 Ways AI and UDL Work Better Together. So if you're interested in exploring the tech side of it and maybe some AI prompts that can help with UDL, go ahead and read that one. This one's a bit shorter because the video is only almost 7 minutes. So I'm going to set my timer for 7 minutes for this one. Choose one, and then we'll gather back together. Thank you for that. All right, so where else do we see UDL in our different content areas? Right? If you're an AP or working in a school site or district, how else or where else does it show up? Know that it is all over the place in each of our California frameworks, from arts, ELA, health, history, math, science, and world languages. So this is really just a reference for you of really, it's all over. Okay. And the next thing is these UDL look for. So 10 focus areas for UDL observations. So the document here, let's see, I think should take you to a PDF. Now, there's going to be 10 on here, which is a lot. I'm going to ask you to take a look at that, and then we can choose one. So follow that link and it should get you to a PDF like this. So 10 focus areas for UDL observations. As we briefly go through these 10, I want you to think about one that can be your takeaway and your next step, okay? It can be something that you're building on as a strength and you want to extend, or something that you want to incorporate that would be new, maybe for your school or your position. Okay? So number one here, learning objectives. Okay, firm goals, flexible means is kind of the mantra of UDL. If you want to focus on learning objectives, that would be number one. Student identity, the learning environment and lesson design affirm the identity of all students. Number two. Number three, SEL, environment and lesson design address social and emotional needs of all in the classroom. Number four, collaboration and community. The classroom fosters engagement, collaboration, and community. 5, flexible methods. Students are provided flexibility in how they learn and from what resources they access information. Maybe that's the choice activities you want to incorporate more of. Flexible materials, they're provided flexibility in the tools and scaffolds they use to support their learning. Do you want to do problems on paper, or do you want to use the algebra tiles? Do you want to use blocks or X? Something like that would be an example of materials. Okay. Formative assessments. Formative assessment data is used to target instruction and frame feedback. Flexible assessments. Self-reflection, students are offered options to self-reflect on choices in their work. And 10, feedback. Feedback from students, formal and informal, is encouraged and welcomed. So out of those 10, and you may need to scroll through them again, which one could be a possible next step for you? Something that you want to learn more about, incorporate more, and all aspects of universal design for learning. Yeah, maybe drop in the chat which one you want to work on or take with you today. All right, so you've got that. I'm going to go ahead and our next part is in our district LCAPs here in Contra Costa County. Where is UDL? I'm just going to breeze through this really quickly. So you know that this is part of your local control accountability plans, where to find it, and also in your school plans as well, if you want to see places for that. And so UDL directly listed in these districts, but we also see terms like inclusive. Okay, where do we see inclusive in the UDL guidelines? I see it in these multiple places here, and we see inclusive in most districts around our counties, LCAPs as well. You also hear the term MTSS, multi-tiered system of support, okay, all over, and know that our UDL strategies here are kind of that tier 1 level, where all students access that universal support. Now, we all know that we have tiers of support for a reason. But if we can get 80% of our students succeeding at that tier 1 level, how great would that be in our school sites? That at the minimum 80%. So if we can design with that in mind, that would be great. And we see MTSS all over. Okay. Anyone else think we are focusing on differentiated instruction? Okay, that's a common term right now. Okay, again, that's UDL. Okay, all over. And we see differentiated instruction all over our county. Culturally relevant. It's another term right now that we see. Okay. Right there in our UDL guidelines and across our counties. So whether your district is specifically calling out UDL as strategies or not, it's something that you're working on, I'm sure, okay? In all these different ways. Okay. So to close us out today, what's one UDL strategy you'll apply in your leadership role? It could be one of those 10 that maybe you just took a note of. Okay. And to close out, we're going to go back to our slide that we started with. Rate your knowledge. I can describe UDL and how it helps all students. let's see if we can annotate again or put in the chat where you are with that one. And you may want to use an example. The one we talked about is the dinner party example today, the tuna noodle casserole versus the buffet. You can also talk about that graphic that we saw in the playground about how that on-ramp made it so all could access it and it's good for all. We also learned a little bit about the UDL guidelines and the different types of the different columns to those guidelines. Okay, so if you're able to rate yourself 1, 2, 3, or 4, hopefully we moved you a little bit. I know how to use UDL to support teachers and improve learning systems. Maybe you just want to model in PD or meetings that you're facilitating, or maybe asking the right questions to teachers that you're working with. And I know next steps to implement UDL. We looked at 10 kind of possibilities of ways to go with that. So that is your crash course in UDL. I hope that we met your learning objectives today and that you do leave here with a number of resources that you can use for you or to share with others as well. You have access to those Padlets also, or that Padlet there with all of our resources from today. And gosh, thanks for sticking with us with a small group, rainy day, okay, at the end of a very long day. I really appreciate it. And just for your participation today and checking out all the resources. Thank you so much. And it was great to meet all of you. And let us know if we if you can help you in any other way or further questions. Okay.
Thank you, Christy.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Bye.